It's the Think High crew, yeah. Yo, it's the Think High crew, what up? Yeah, it's the Think High crew, you know. It's the Think High crew, what up? It's the Think High crew, yeah. It's the Think High crew, yeah. 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 Think High crew.
Hello.
Grand Rising gods and goddesses. What's popping?
Welcome to Think High Crew.
We back with another Mindset Mindfulness Monday, aka Moon's Day. As y'all know, last Moon's Day was about clarity, and we were talking about the steps inside of clarity. And today we were going to continue that conversation as well. But if you would like, up to you guys. We can, first get a quick recap of how was your week's end. My
Yeah,
brother
and
know.
oh man, mine was just full of a whole bunch of stuff, bro. I went to Atlanta and it was nonstop, full speed ahead. I don't even live like that because I live down here on this island where everything's slow. But
Right.
sometimes you got to reach out and go to them spots that you don't really want to go to tap into more matrix involved situations. And
Yeah.
and then we went up there to visit some people too, and it was a good trip. My wife got to visit one of her best friends. Her mom had a burst aneurysm about 2 months ago, and so she's in the
Oh man.
Shepherd Center downtown. Uh, and she's actually going home, I think today or something like that. So she went to visit her, and then we got to see Matt Jones, aka Bruce Matthews. Everybody
Hey.
knows him. Got to see him. I got to see a couple of my homeboys. Got a couple meetings in, just shit like that. So I'm back down here where it's slow, and
Comfortable
that's what I'm
with, huh?
feeling like too. I'm feeling
Right.
real slow today. But we got a good show today. Part one of clarity. The reason why we got to do part two is because there's a lot about clarity, right?
Indeed.
So if you didn't catch part one of clarity, it's it's available for free. You could just check it out, and then you might be able to catch yourself up to where we're at now. I think this is really important for everybody that's trying to do something with themselves in their life, no
Indeed.
matter how big or small. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But first, let's see what the numbers tell us.
Hey, I got you right
Oh, and you got
here.
that new iPhone, right?
Well, yeah, I got it, and my weekend was consisted of trying to get the shit
Fucking
hooked up.
around and trying to find out.
Yeah, it's fucking around and trying to find out, and it's not even on my end that the problem. It's just the moon when it comes to technology and trying to get shit done. You know what I mean? The service provider that I've switched to was having difficulties with shit, and the IT's got to see what's going on with the problem or whatnot. But that's just a
And
random.
you know what that is too. That's when the newest of the new comes out.
Yeah.
That's why I like getting it because the hackers can't even fuck with it.
Right, you know what I mean? Right, because it's the news of the news. So I'm like, all right, well, it's all good. They supposed to call me sometime today or tomorrow. We can get everything situated, and I'll be my
Yeah.
text will what be blue now or green for you, whatever the hell the
Well,
bubble
if you
will be.
text me when you text me or any other iPhone or iPad or Mac or
I
whatever it
can.
is, it'll be blue on the iMessage.
Right, right.
But
But other than that,
if you text somebody without an iPhone, it'll still be green.
Right.
It'll
And
be
I
a
was
regular text message.
okay, cool. So I mean, when my shit come up now, it ain't gonna. Well, hopefully by the end of the day or tomorrow,
Me
you
and
know,
you will be blue.
we be blued up. Yo, what up, Matt Jones, man? There you go. Um, but other than that, I got with my producer and we lining up a meeting today. We're gonna get some songs ready to distribute. I need a couple more cover arts to finish up and get what you want to say passed through by the team. So I'll be sending you some shit. Let me know what you think. But my booth's been out of commission because I'm drying my plants, and I'm like, I put them in there, and I'm like, God damn. So I just kind of had my hands was tied the weekend, so and I just kind of sat and reflected on that. You know what I mean? And was like, all right, well, obviously, what I need to do can't be done at the moment.
Right.
So I just had to sit. You know, we talked about that on Friday, like how sitting or just being patient or just being still is actual an action as well. So
Yep.
that's what I had to do. While you, it was complete opposite of what you was doing. You know what I mean? It was like while you was
Oh
out
yeah.
there making it happen, like I was like trying to pull it all back into me for me this weekend. But
Yeah,
yeah, we
man.
can get it.
Hey, I wanted to say this though. If
Yeah.
nobody, so if people frequent Atlanta, Georgia, or if you're thinking about going there, and this ain't got nothing to do with this show, no plug, nothing like that. I wish I had one of them people paying me to talk about them, right? But
Right.
but anyway, check out the Battery, bro, down by the Braves Stadium. Man,
Okay.
that joint right there.
It's a nice joint.
I'm telling you, dog. And anything you want to do, from shopping to restaurant to, like I said, the Braves Stadium. You want to go ride a mechanical bull? They got one up there. There's all kind of shit. And then if you want to look on my X account and see what I was doing, I was running around practicing for the next time I stormed the field.
I seen that.
But yeah, man, it was cool. Got to see some people that I ain't seen in a minute.
Right.
Got to get some other things in motion, and so yeah, so let's kick this bitch off.
Let's kick this bitch off and welcome back to another Mindset Mindfulness Monday. This Monday, October the 30th with the Think High crew, the ones you let it hate and hate the motherfucking love. We back with a charge up day. As you heard, my nigga Nove was out there getting it, so he was feeling a little slow. So let's give him some positive vibes, help him charge up for the week. And today's going to be a number 2, and it'll be a good day for that. I got the number 2, if you're not hip to numerology, by adding up all of today's dates numbers together. So 10 plus 30 plus 2023 equals 2063. 2 plus 0 plus 6 plus 3 equals 11. 1 plus 1 is 2. So today is a 2. It's a dose. And cooperation and relations that are diplomatic seem to be more effective today. You'll probably see tasks that'll need more teamwork than individual effort. Expect new or more attention to improving relationships as well. And the value of friendship is more likely to be noticed. And speak on that personally. Me and my nigga Nove had a conversation earlier today that dealt directly with that. But to dive deeper into today's global energy of being of the dose. So we know yesterday was a 1 and we eased into 2 today. And you should find 2 to be a bit easier to handle than the intensity of 1. And Nova can speak on that as well. Same here with me through yesterday as well. 2 is more gentle, more, diplomatic, as you said. As I said, relationships that and things that have to do with your diplomacy will be of more attention and teamwork. It's more graceful than a direct energy of number 1. And so don't be fooled though. There's strength in the integrity in 2. They always say when you have more than 1 getting together, things can happen. And it holds its own if need be. 2 seeks the peace and the harmony and for people to get along with each other, creative endeavors. This is what's supposed to be happening on the inside, and it's funny what's going on the outside. We ain't even gonna get into that though. Creative endeavors that 18 seem to find the balance, and you'll find synchronicity in that. Interactions with others will also go well for you today. So this is the vibe of today's to get out there. You'll find a lot of compatible people to you. A good day for reaching out. In order to get most out of the day, you'll have to check on your own personal cycle, your own personal numerology, etiology, and see how that best blends the 2 energy of the day. They like to call that the Janus, the double face duality. But at the same time, you just want to be careful of taking advantage of others. Just that you seek the best, for today's cultivate patience and understanding. And a lot of people might be having a rough time, so just have an understanding to that, and use it as a chance to be a mirror. So that's today is the dulce energy of today, and that's what we back with clarity and to dive deeper into that because we weren't quite done with what we need. What up, Grand Rising G Kong? We weren't
Right.
quite done with going into
Yeah.
what makes something
Well,
clear.
I was thinking today, before we start the part two, and we're gonna start out with accountability. Let's get T there to what's up, T? Let's get T to pull us a card because she said that she had wanted to pull a card for us today before we get in. So
Hey T, what's up?
Hey, Jason, what's up?
Hey, y'all had me rolling with them
You-
videos.
Oh
Gnomes.
man, Ashley was on his shit this weekend. I mean Nova, my bad.
that motherfucker doxed the hell out of you, boy. She don't give a fuck. She'll dox your ass all the way down to the police station.
My
Shit.
bad.
Shit.
My bad.
So what's up with the cards?
All right, so
First of all, what deck you pulling from?
well, that's what I'm saying. I'm shuffling the cards and I'm pulling from the Starseed Oracle deck. That's the one I've just been using recently most. And I'm trying to have one just fly out at me and it's not. So I'm about to just cut the deck and pull one. So let's see.
All right, let's see what we got.
All right. It says, I remember soul plan, the fated life versus the destiny life. Let's see what it says about it.
So it says, I remember.
It says, I remember soul plan, the fated life versus the destiny life. And it says there was a moment before you were born when you chose the conditions of the life you're living right now, when you plotted out these exact moments along the timeline of your life. We live in a world of free will, and therefore these moments become our destiny only through saying yes. The fated life is the one we were born into. The destiny life is the one our soul chooses, and it takes courage and faith. If you pull this card, it's because you're likely now face to face with the choice to follow the destiny life over the fated life, to trust the path your soul is calling you toward, and to remember that this moment was prearranged on your life's timeline. You may find yourself at a crossroads, at a moment when you're being called to make a decision, to keep walking the perfectly laid out path before you or choose the one less traveled. You may be facing a change of career, a new relationship, a difficult decision, or something else that requires courage and faith. You're being invited to remember your soul's greater plan and to surrender to it. When you're confronted with a path that is undefined, it's normal for doubt to rear its head. In fact, this is a certain sign that you're facing your soul's greater plan. Every hero in his or her life journey comes eye to eye with doubt. The only way around it is through it. It's all part of the larger plan. What are you being called to do to surrender to your soul's plan?
Ooh.
Okay, so kind of, I mean, not trying to make everything fit, but kind of goes with the number two and kind of goes with accountability.
Oh yeah,
It
clarity
definitely
too.
does. Mm-hmm.
Finding
Okay,
that
cool.
clarity.
So, and
I'm
what?
still trying to figure out the destiny life versus the fated life. So the fated life is the one you were born into, and the destiny life is the one our soul chooses, which takes courage and faith.
Right.
So
So you might be destined to be a prince, but instead you run off and be a rock star because that's, or excuse me, your fated life might have
fated.
been to be a
Mm-hmm.
prince, or you're supposed to take up this mantle. LeBron James's sons, for example, have a fated life of following in their father's footsteps of being the best basketball players ever. But if they choose their destiny, might be something completely different. What's in their soul? Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Very
that was
true.
me filling in for Megawatt.
All right.
Hey, much appreciation.
Well,
Yeah.
it all kind of went together, so that's a good thing because now we can figure out what the hell, what
Yeah.
kind of
So
clarity you're searching for and what kind of accountability you need.
right. So before you drop we dropped the where we left off. just let the people. Well, I'll give them a quick synopsis.
Yeah, go ahead and give them a
Um,
quick synopsis.
we wanted to talk about clarity and to break it down. And so we've been breaking down clarity. We broke down the responsibility it takes. We broke down how shit has to give. The reasons why, your why. You can't hit the bullseye without a target. We talked about setting goals and a target. Um, we talked about finding your why and how to find it. Um, we also talked about what your values
You
are.
started with responsibility, right?
Yes, I started with
Yeah,
responsibility. Yeah, we
my
started.
bad. I mean,
No, you're good. That's where it began, and we got all the way down to the boundaries of the relationships that we have and defining what's healthy and what's not healthy. And after that, that was the end of our show because we only get 2 hours live, guys. So that left us with accountability will be the next part in finding your clarity. So once you've taken responsibility, you've set your goals, you know your why, you understood your why, you ask yourself why about your fucking why.
right?
You start exercising what you need to do. So you start setting values to shit, and then you start setting boundaries. Obviously, because once you have a certain value to what you're doing, there's got to be a certain boundary set. And then we fall right into the accountability.
Yeah, and why you need it, right? Why do you need accountability?
Well, accountability is a big topic in today's society in general.
Exactly. And I believe that this little quote sums it up by a guy named Bob Proctor. And it says, accountability is the glue that ties commitment to results.
Ooh,
That's
one more
pretty
time for the
powerful.
people in the
It's
back.
like accountability, not responsibility,
Right.
but accountability is the glue that ties commitment to results.
Absolutely.
So you could almost say that accountability falls right in with consistency also, because
For sure.
consistency would be part of that glue makeup, I think, that ties commitment to results. Because if you ain't consistent, you can be accountable all day long, but
Right.
what you gonna do?
Well, the accountability is something that's been preyed on throughout our whole society. It's tricking us into believing that there's um, this level of accountability that only benefits a certain group of people instead of yourself. We see it happening all the time. Like the biggest thing has been between relationships and the men and women and the accountability that each gender per se has taken upon themselves to or perceive how the accountability they've used to perceive themselves in today's society. Um, no one wants to look at themselves and say, this is where I fucked up and this is where I need to change. No one wants to
Right,
hear that.
100%. So check this out. I'm gonna read this little. So I'm doing this with AI, but I'm if you know how to use this AI shit, then you know that like you could take what you're thinking of and then type it in and let AI articulate it. And so it sounds a lot better when I'm telling you guys, right? So I ain't finna sit here and take all the credit for it, but check this out. To make, and this is talking about accountability and why do you need accountability? So this is what it came up with. To make actionable progress on any professional goal and increase your influence on how you experience your life and your professional life, you've got to have accountability. You've got to have a plan, goal, or strategy that you can follow and check back frequently to see if you're going in the right direction.
That's the accountable part.
When you have accountability to yourself, you are working your plan and you make it a priority and see results. If you make it about yourself and you keep checking up on your plan and you make it a priority, then usually you're going to see results, right? So when you have a plan, you know what resources you have at your disposal,
Right.
what potential obstacles you may encounter and how to deal with them. you know how to spend your time. And at the end, it says, when you have accountability, you are truly in charge of your results.
And what's crazy, you're right. And what's crazy is that its accountability is used way more in the professional realm than it is in our personal realm. It's almost like the definition of accountability in the professional field of life is more,
Insurance.
yeah, well, it's just more, account. It fits with it. You normally you have a business account, or you have a banking account, or you have a,
Exactly.
normally. And I think it kind of distorts the real definition, because we don't think of our personal lives as a business. You know what I mean? We don't run our personal lives, karmic account, as T said. Yep. We don't run our lives or our spiritual lives or the other aspects of our lives with the accountability that we run our personal or professional side of our lives. So when you look up accountability, even just Googling the word, most of the, like, the first 10 things you'll find has to deal with business. But what I seen one right here that is totally, what you want to say, relevant to our topic of clarity, because it says accountability is the acceptance of responsibility for one's own actions and implies a willingness to be transparent.
That's a good definition or explanation, really.
Now, to let you know where that came from, it came from Investopedia. So the encyclopedia of investing, you know what I mean?
Right. And so check it out. Think about it.
Accountability
If
is
you're gonna invest in something, right? If you're gonna sit down and say, I'm finna put together a portfolio of investments,
right.
well, you gotta have a plan first, buddy. Because
Yep.
if you ain't a plan, what are you gonna do? So say for instance, you might not need the plan on buying a certain share of stock or a certain cryptocurrency, etc., right?
Hmm.
Because you might just kind of already know, like, oh yeah, I've been fucking with this company for a minute. I've seen them doing good. I like how they are, etc., etc. And that would be your choice.
Right.
But if you were looking at a plan on how to enter and how to exit, you would want to know, okay, what's its low? I'm going to go in, I'm going to buy in at this price, and then I'm going to sell at this price. Because if you go in to that situation with no real strategy, then you're never going to really know when to exit
Or you're not.
or cash out.
Right. And then
You're
you
just
won't.
going to try to ride it, and you don't have a plan. So,
And then if
like,
shit goes to shit, then you
exactly.
you want to put the accountability on that company or those people that you were invested in, instead of taking the accountability for your own actions.
Right.
And yeah, that's
And
the
that, I just
confusion that
said
we
that
have.
because
Yeah.
you pulled up the Investopedia, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
obviously accountability and the plan for that just applies to literally everything in life. I mean,
And you
even
won't. Yeah, you
all the
won't
way
have
down to
clarity
washing
without it.
dishes, bro.
Yeah, you won't have clear. There's no clarity without all of the things that we're mentioning. So, like, to get clarity isn't something that you're gonna achieve tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? It's something that you have to work at every single day. You know what I mean? And I think, like, if we started looking at our life in the sense of how this United States corporation looks at our life as like a business, or like another corporation of a business, then I think we would take a lot more accountability for the actions and for the choices that we choose to make, because it is going to affect us. We don't have the accountability to think, oh, it's going to affect us financially, or this is going to affect us like this. We have them totally separate and compartmentalized in our brain. And that shit will have you all fucked up, because now you're not taking the accountability for the choices that you make. People will say, and you can even go all over with it, with religion and science, all of it. You know what I mean? There's a level of accountability that all of these things lack.
Exactly.
and
And
and, and that creates a fog. Obviously, you're not there's no clarity if there's if you don't. You know what I mean? Because they'll tell you one thing, but the results of it, they're not going to be held nobody's held accountable for. Nobody
Exactly.
knows
And so
who.
then, like you said, once that happens, there is no clarity. And then, um, so then you would ask yourself, like, well, what accountability is? Like, what is it, right? What is it? So this is something I was reading, and I noticed that these. And we'll just start with this part of accountability. Since you started with the Investopedia and what accountability means there. So check it out. It says, make it smart, right? And so what does that mean? Well, never give up on something you can't go a day without thinking about. All right. And then they've got this acronym. And when I say they, I mean certified financial planners kind of go by this acronym. It's SMART. SMART. And so if we want to, we can run through and figure out what in the fuck SMART means. What's the acronym for it? So S, we're going to go through this, quick. We ain't going to spend too much time on it. But S is specific. Okay. That's it. That's what S stands for. It's specific. So if you're going to, if you're going to go into whatever it is, it could be financial, it could be any type of situation that you need.
Yeah, you gotta have a plan. You say you gotta have a plan. You gotta, but it's gotta be smart, right? It's gotta be specific, right? Okay.
The next would be M, and that is for measurable. So your goals need to be measurable, so you can gauge what your process or what your progress is going to be. So you would just take that as in your own, just digest it, right? And you're like, okay, so if I'm gonna be specific and I'm gonna be measurable, then I need to know specifics on what the what's the word? What the statistics are, right? What the data is on whatever you're getting into, or what the experience of other people are. And then that would help you get to a spot where you would gauge how measurable it is for you to make a move left, right, or like we said, just stay still. Sometimes you got to stay still.
And just to say, if you look up SMART acronym, it'll bring this right up. It's the first thing that comes up.
Yeah, so, it's not a hidden thing.
You know that's what's so great. Yeah, I know. Yep, absolutely not.
And so A would be as if now.
Okay.
Or achievable. You're achievable, right. Or as if now. So so now you're ready to get into it. You know what I mean? You've been specific, or you've
got a plan.
Done the responsibility part. Right. Then you've held accountability, and now you come into the specifics of the measurable or the measurability of what you're getting into, and then the act now or as if it's now, right now. Like, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Right. And that kind of goes into your goals. So I think I'm just reading this real quick. So it's a really important part of finding out the specific goal that you want to do. Whether it means like I want to run a mile, but I can't run a full mile, so I'm going to walk half a mile today and then run the last 30 seconds of my whatever it is. When I see my house, right, I'm gonna tell you I'm running. I'm gonna run all the way to my house, and then you get better and better at it. You build, you just build up.
Right.
But you also, for the R, is the you've got to be realistic. So you can have a big goal, right? Because I'm a fan of really big goals, also, obviously. But you've got to be realistic about it.
For sure.
And so on the financial side, right?
That goes back into accountability as well, because if you holding yourself accountable for the plan that you've made, then you definitely got to be realistic about each step. Exactly. Because it's not gonna, like with our podcast Mobcast that we're doing, we want to gain 100 new listens on Podbean every week, so there's things that we have to do, and we have to be reasonable, with the outcomes that we're searching for, because obviously it's not going to blow up overnight, you know what I mean? And we
Yeah,
got to be
everybody
realistic
wants to
about that.
be everybody wants to be the biggest and the greatest, right? But
Mm-hmm.
hey, you got to start somewhere. And if you don't take the right steps throughout it, then you're not gonna be focused enough. You're not gonna have the plan that you need. I just want to read this real quick. It
Okay.
says, and this is kind of talking about the realistic part of it, right? So, um, let's see. Your goal may to become partner in a firm, which could be achievable for you. But if your timeline is 1 year and you're a first year employee, that's pretty unrealistic. You see
Right.
what I mean? You know,
Yeah,
yeah,
facts.
miracles happen, right? But hey, it's a lot of motherfuckers in that firm doing their job too. So how do you think
Well,
you can just
a
up
lot of people,
everybody?
and that's the thing. The whole professional realm, it seems to have way more accountability held. Like you sign up to do this, and everybody normally, if you want to talk about it, the average person normally makes sure that they hold up to their end, and they hold themselves accountable for the part that they play in their corporate or their professional life. But
Exactly. And they also know that just they're not the only ones holding themselves accountable. There's a
right,
whole other
it's a whole
people,
group of people,
you know what I
right?
mean?
And we're
Um,
basically we're telling people this could be used in your personal life as well. So no matter how you're looking at it, you know what I mean. No matter what goal it is that you're trying to achieve or where you're trying to take yourself, you know what I mean. You have to
exactly.
start looking at it through these type of aspects, because that's just
Well,
how you
say
make
for
shit happen.
instance, if you had a goal to make or to earn or make whatever you want to call it, $150,000 this year,
Mm-hmm.
but if you made 45,000 last year and you're going to do the same thing, well, that's a big gap. That's
Right,
$105,000. Where's that going to come from? You know
right,
what I mean? So you got
right.
to have the goals. You got to be realistic about it. And if not, if you're not realistic about it, then everything that we talked about before that will not matter
Yes.
because you'll be shooting for the motherfucking star that don't exist, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
or it exists, but it's so many universes away that we have no way to get there yet. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
A
and
lot of
then the
people do
last
that.
one.
They'll
Go
jump
ahead, my
up
bad.
out. You're good. They'll jump up out of. They'll jump off the launching pad, and then once they get to outer space, they realize how far their goal really is, and then there's no turning back now. And so now they're just floating out there trying to figure out how they can get to where they need to get to, and they don't even have, what
Right.
they need. Yeah.
Or
Well,
you could say it like that, or you could say it like this. You could take every large goal that you have, break them into smaller ones, and work towards them incrementally to keep them realistic. Because in this process, you want to set yourself up for success and keep yourself motivated. You don't want to set yourself up for failure. The world's already doing that. Now, I'm not one of those people that's so pessimistic and so, but at the end of the day, bro, this world will chew you the fuck up and spit you out and not worry about you.
Facts.
So if you don't protect yourself in these smart moves that they're talking about, then who's going to? Now, if you're in a professional world, you're going to have a little more accountability of people saying, like, hey, bro, like I can't do my job until you do your job. But eventually that'll end too, because if you don't hold yourself accountable, then why are other people going to continue to? You know what I mean? It's like raising a kid. I mean, you can hold that kid accountable all day long, but when they get to the age to where they're out there doing what they want to do, it's their turn. You can't make them hold their own self accountable.
Right.
All right, and then
That's
the
a
last
within
one would be
thing.
for
Yeah.
T. We did SMART, so SMART is for
Right.
timed. So everything that you do, you want to have like some type of timeline or an attached date that you can achieve it by. And also, set yourself up for success. Don't do some crazy timeline. Don't say I'm going to make $150,000 this year, but
Right.
I don't know how I'm going to do it because I made 45,000 last year. But I'm
Yeah.
just going to go ahead and just make 150 this year.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Give
cool.
yourself
That's
the
what's up.
proper
But
room.
exactly,
Yeah, because it's like planting a seed, you know what I mean? Like we all wanted to sprout and go, and and then you know what I mean, it gets done, and then you harvest, and then you're like, man, when can I actually do something with it? And it's just you
Well, and
gotta set
also
those proper time limits for you.
with those timelines, you're going to show other people around you that you are keeping yourself accountable.
Yep.
They're going to be like, oh, dang, he said he was going to do this by then, and he did it. Oh, dang, they said the podcast started at 12:30. That
Right.
motherfucker starts at 12:30 every day. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so you always want to attach a date to your goal. I kind of said that already, but by which you want to achieve it. You want to have a much better perspective, or you will have a much better perspective of what you need to do, when, and how often the goal is timed. And a date puts parameters around the goal.
Right. So you taking all of that and you're just taking your goal, and basically what SMART is helping you do is to break it down to make it easier for you. Because obviously the goal that you want to achieve, you know, everybody wants to achieve in life. Maybe even if it's just being a motherfucking, you know, the best wife you can fucking be, you know what I mean? It's going to take some time, you know what I mean, to do it. And you're going to have to break down your one large task of being the best wife in the world into smaller tasks that you have to do on a daily basis,
like,
that equals
for instance,
up to you being
what
the
does
best
that
wife in the world.
mean? Like, what does it actually mean to be the best wife or the best husband? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure.
You can't just like wake up and say, "Oh, I'm the best wife or I'm the best husband."
Nope.
But it's like you said, you got to like the SMART says, you got to break it down.
And it's nuts to think that, you know what I mean? Like, we do that for ourselves, especially in our professional lives, but we tend to have we lack that account. In our personal, you know what I mean? Like, we'll go to work.
And people get offended too much. Yeah. It's like, whoa, bro. Like, hey, like, look, the podcast starts at 12:30. Don't get offended if this motherfucker starts at 12:30 and you were supposed to be here and you ain't here, and then you pop in late, and then you feel some kind of way because somebody started without you. Well, no, that ain't how it works, though, because everybody knew that, you know, whatever it is, everybody knew that you were supposed to be at work at 8 o'clock, or everybody knew that you were supposed to clean up the house, or everybody knew. So, you know, it is what it is at that point.
You're absolutely right. So once you break everything down and you put it into smaller tasks, so, you know, if we're using that example, the best wife in the world, you're like, all right, well, then I'm gonna make sure that I do this, you know, I do this and I do this and I handle this and I take the stress away from this, or I add to the pot with this, or I do, you know, and then once you
in that, bro, you've got to keep those healthy boundaries up as you're trying to be the best wife.
Yes.
Because if you let somebody run all over you, you let somebody run all over you like a doormat, like some people I know. It ain't
and then you can even take it back to first. What was the first one that comes with clarity? Responsibility. So first off, you got to take the responsibility that comes with being the best wife in the world. You know what I mean? And then,
and you got to realize that your first, even if you're trying to be the best wife, best husband, best father, best mother, whatever it is,
if that's your goal,
your first responsibility is you.
Yep. Well, you can't
the
pour
whole
into
thing of clarity.
Can't pour in from an empty cup. That's you know that's impossible. Exactly. You know what I mean? Exactly. All right. So yeah. So then once we use SMART to break down our goal to make it easy for us. What's next?
I mean, there's just reading, there's like a few things where it's like they get into kind of like, I would say, like branded material that somebody suggests. Like, I see this thing, it's like the power of 3 and what it can do for your career, power of 3, etc. Me personally, I think that if you go with responsibility, accountability, and all the small steps in between, then you don't necessarily need, like, you don't even really need to operate off of the SMART, the SMART, right? But that just is a good guideline to kind of help you.
Right. Well, if you talk about the power of 3, I mean, we could go spiritually, you could go strategically, you could go professionally. Like it has all of that's connected. You know what I mean? So when they talk about the power of the 3, we already know Father, Son, Holy Spirit, all of it, all, you know, church, state, and, you know, fucking.
I'll say, the secret of change is to focus all of your energy not fighting on the old, but on building the new.
Right.
You know who said that? Socrates.
That's my homie.
So real quick though, the power of three. The power of three is concentrating your focus on 3 things at the beginning of each day. Now, I don't give a fuck, and I don't even know what 3 things they're talking about, because I don't think we even need to go into it. Because if you go through these steps of finding clarity, by the time you get to this right here, you're gonna know what you want to try to achieve.
Right.
Every day. You know what I mean? So that falls into the SMART right there, you know. So
yeah, for sure.
I think that
I think the power
of
3 is as much as it is, you know, they use it in the financial world. I think it's definitely something that everybody should take in based on them. You know what I mean? Because that a lot of suggestions like that, you know what I mean? Like people don't understand when it comes to the numbers and the sacred, you know, geometry and all this extra shit that's actually going on, you know, around us.
We could sit here and spend the whole show talking about what 3 and the Trinity and why.
Oh my gosh.
Spirit, the Holy Ghost, and all that.
Because 3, 6, and 9, they're all related. You know what I mean? So you would have to. There's a lot that you would have to go into the understanding, like really the power of 3. That shit is really on some, and a lot of knowledge is occult knowledge. A lot of people don't really know that. But the power of 3, if we were going to get into that, is definitely will have some occultism involved, and why the power of 3 works in a professional, personal, and spiritual, all the way on all 3 levels, if you want to say. The power of 3 works on all 3 levels. So if you take it in as that, you know what I mean, then you'll get the gist of it. But if you've made it this far through the list of things that bring you clarity, then like you said, that is going to be different for everybody, because we already know how the numbers work.
Right. And then I just wanted to say, like, if you get down to the power of 3 and you kind of get into that vibe of what it means and how you can use it for your benefit, then you're going to get closer to those achievable outcomes and the keys to the kingdom, basically. You know what I mean? The keys to the kingdom. And what the fuck is the kingdom? And like, is that the win? Or because in life, life's a journey. It's not a destination.
I don't think it's quite over after that. Once you get the keys to the kingdom, you still got to run that bitch. But you're right. It will bring you to, you'll find what your achievable outcomes are. So we've been doing this podcast for this long. The achievable outcome of growth is this much per each week, as long as we're doing this amount of work and or activity towards this every day, and then you're like, okay, boom. So if we know if we do this right here, then in 6 months we'll be here. We should be here, and in 12 months we should be here, and next year we should be here. And then you have achievable goals. That's why people can, a lot of these big companies or anybody, or even with goals, you can predict and be like, well, next year we'll probably make around this much if you consider us continuing on the same path that we're on this year. Or by next year, I'm going to be way more doper at making beats than I am this year, because I spent 20 minutes every single day for the last 365 days just making beats and figuring shit out. So,
and you know what? What you just said right there. I think this is something that I wrote out like a long time ago. It's not nothing big, but it's just like, so think about this. Confidence, it does not ever really come from having all the answers. It comes from being open to all the questions.
Facts.
And like, I almost got that shit tatted on me one time, but I didn't, because I got enough quotes on me. Shit, motherfucker, like a damn scripture.
No, but that's a real life. That's a real life word.
Yeah, and then also,
that's a real life
bar. We say this all the time. So this has everything to do with everything that we represent, but everything you need to do exactly what you want is already inside of you.
Right.
Like when you go somewhere to learn how to do something, I know this sounds crazy, but you're actually just remembering it
Yep.
because we already know.
Yeah.
You might not know all the way. That's why you got to go get. You
Well,
got to go get.
that's why we seek clarity, bro, because
Exactly.
that's exactly why we seek clarity, because the world is so loud, and it's loud on the inside of us, it's loud on the outside of us. And there's so much fog, there's so much smoke and mirrors, there's so much bullshit that's going on both planes, within you and without you. And that is the point, that's why we have to find it. That's what we need clarity for. So then
Right.
you're not just moving like how everybody else is moving.
Right. Well,
You're
think about
moving
this
you're
too.
moving in a way where you know what the achievable outcome is.
And you're moving in a way that nobody else could ever really teach you how to move.
Yep.
Because you're doing you, you know.
Right.
And so there's a couple questions you could ask yourself. What will achieving this goal allow you to do? This goal could be making more money. This goal could be being a better wife or husband. This
Right.
goal could be keeping your yard and house clean, or whatever it is, you know what I mean, in your life. And so just ask yourself, well, if I'm going to go for this goal, then what will it allow me to do? Will it allow me to be
Right.
more free, more sovereign, or more
Right.
happy, or more
Right.
clean, or
Will it
whatever
just
it
feel
is?
good? Will it just feel good to get it done? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's gotta ask yourself these questions, because then you'll find out, a lot of the stuff that we spoke about previously, you'll see those start popping back up, like what you value, what's your
Right.
why, because that's all going to be, based on, what you're spending your
Right.
time
So
in.
if you ask yourself, what will achieving this goal allow you to do?
Right.
Then you're going to ask yourself, maybe I would ask myself, what will you see when you've achieved the goal? Because
Right.
everybody knows when you can see it, smell it, or touch it, or feel it, then it's became real
And
to you.
I ask myself, in the same sense, will you be a better person than you were before after achieving this goal? And that makes
Exactly.
it easy for me to choose
Can
what
you
I should do or
handle?
not.
Can you even handle what you're going after? Because you might be somebody that makes $45,000 a year and gets along just fine, but you might want to make 150. But when you make that 150,000 a year, are you going to be able to handle that shit?
Or is
Because
it really going to
everybody
be
I
worth
know,
it?
right? Exactly. Is it going to be worth the sacrifices and the whatever you got to give up?
Because
Because you're
now
going to
you
have
in
to
a
give
higher
up some
tax
shit.
bracket. Now you in a higher
Yeah.
tax
Well, I
bracket.
ain't
Now
got to that
yeah.
part yet. Oh boy,
Yeah.
I ain't got that part. I was talking about, like,
hmm
you can't expect to make $45,000 a year and then next year make $150,000 a year and not make any sacrifices.
Right.
It just ain't
Right.
gonna happen. You might make, if you don't sacrifice shit, you might make $25,000 that next year
Right.
because you ain't set no goals, you ain't got your shit straight, and you don't even know what you're doing. But you're just saying, yeah, I'm finna go make 150 bands this year.
Yep.
I don't know how. I'm gonna work the same shit. I'm gonna do the same thing. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, well, that's called insanity, doing the same thing, expecting different
right.
results. And we spoke about that as well, in
Mm-hmm.
finding clarity and what it means to get all the way there. And like I
Right.
said, like we talk about, this is not just this not just a tomorrow thing. This is not just I'm gonna wake up and then clarity is gonna be here. Like shit, we might make it through this whole fucking life and only get,
You
so
might get to
much
be
of a
83
clear,
years old
yeah.
and say, you know what? I finally get it.
I finally got it. You know what I
Got
mean?
it.
Like, but that's what, Gary Vee and a lot of these motherfuckers be talking about. Like, you're not old until you're on your deathbed type shit. Like,
Right.
you gotta, there's shit that you still could be doing for yourself. And like,
Yeah.
and that goes to, like I said, once you know those achievable goals, um, it's easy to fucking get to them because you already know that what you can do. Obviously, when you start your goal, you don't know what your full potential is, but you know that it's high. So once you get the results that you're looking for, it's easy to just tweak the fucking formula. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You
And
got
then
to have the form. You got to have the goal, but you also got to know that, like, I'm going for 150,000. I might make 98,000.
right.
And in that, like, is that okay for you? You know what I mean? Like, because you want to set yourself up for success, not failure. So you want
Right.
to make sure that like you still um you still have those healthy boundaries within yourself too, to let
Right.
yourself know that damn, I came from 45 to 98. I was shooting
Right.
for 150, but you know what? It might take 2 or 3 more years to get to 150.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
And
when you
then
see what you've done and what it will do for you, you're going to probably ask yourself, what will you hear when you've achieved it? Are you going to
right.
hear people congratulate you, or are you
Probably
going to
not.
hear people talking shit behind your back? Probably,
Probably a little bit of both.
probably the latter.
You gonna get a lot of motherfuckers like, man, I knew you could do it, and they was just
Yeah.
sitting around, you know what I mean, waiting for you
They
to
was
do
sitting
it, you know
around
what I
not
mean?
doing
Yeah,
shit.
they
You
ain't
might
share
even
not
ask
one
them.
thing.
You might have
They ain't
asked them
invest
for
not
like,
$1.
yep, or
Mhm.
you know what? You not even $1, bro. Just their
Just
energy.
your time. Yeah, spend it,
Like, hey,
listen to
can you
this
help
song.
support what I'm doing? Can
They're
you
like, oh,
share
the
this
Think
for
High
me?
crew blew up, but never motherfucking listen to one episode. You know what I'm saying? Then they'd
Yeah.
be in your
And
inbox like, I knew you could do it, bro, man. Da da da
yeah,
da.
what's
You
up,
like,
man? That shit. I was just waiting on you, man. I knew you could do it, man. Like, all
mm-hmm.
right, well, I appreciate you waiting on me. Keep waiting your ass right over there.
Hey, and that's crazy because you know what I mean. It goes back into those footnotes that you were sending me, because that rolls right into community. Because you know what I mean, when you start thinking about who gonna hear it, you know what I mean. I didn't know if you were done with that last part, but you know you
No, it's
start
just
thinking
a
about
good
who.
question, bro. I'll run through them
Okay,
real
yeah.
quick.
Okay.
So what will you feel when you've achieved it? These are just
Okay.
basic things, you know. What are
Yeah.
you now, or where are you now in relation to your goal? So
True.
right
Yep.
now, are you at 45? If you're at
Right.
45, you know you're at 45, you're honest about it, and you live like you're at 45. You don't live
Right.
like you're at 75 right now. Because if you're
Right.
trying to get to 150, you got to cut out all that bullshit and live
Mm-hmm.
in your means. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Or the
For
goal ain't
sure.
gonna happen, bro. If you had nothing else to do but achieve this goal, what is the very next action you would do to take it? That's a
Okay.
powerful one. If you
Right.
had nothing else to do but achieve this goal,
Mm.
what is the very next action you would
It
take?
would take, man. That's a good
And
question to ask
so,
yourself.
and then the next question would be, how will you know you have achieved this goal?
Mm.
And then, do you know anyone else who has done it? Question mark.
Okay.
Or what resources do you already have that will help you achieve this goal?
Right.
And then a final one is just ask differently. When you get when you get to where you think you got it,
Right.
ask all these questions, but ask the motherfuckers different. And then you'll see like, okay, I really have came a lot further
Right.
than I was, or than I even thought I was going to, or I didn't get as far as I was going to in this and this, but I damn sure knocked it out of the park in this category. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, yeah.
So yeah, so let's roll into the next one you was bringing up.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because you know, at the end of the day, no matter what questions that you're asking yourself, a very important part would be the community, because you're not going to be able to achieve any goal by yourself. Even if your goal is to be, the best wife on the earth, well, you're still going to have to have a community within your household, you know what I mean, with the children and the husband to be able to do that. So
That's right.
the next one says the community. Then you obviously, a lot of people will say, why you need, community. Well, obviously, I mean, the answer is really simple. Nothing happens without each other. You mean we could, if you're gonna sell something, if you're gonna try to be somebody, there's no, whatever you're trying to do or accomplish, like shit, this podcast don't work without people coming to listen to
Right. Like
and
if we just do a podcast,
mm-hmm.
then and if there's no quote unquote community that's actually tuned into and kind of vibing how we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then and not being so biased on stuff, just kind of being open to things and just
Yeah.
being
A community is a group of like-minded individuals, you know what I
right,
mean?
and being
Right.
grown enough to be able to talk in the community about things and not get offended.
Yeah.
and not trying to offend others while you're trying to convey what the fuck you're trying to get across.
Yeah.
And you must realize that not everyone is meant to be in your life. So you can,
Right.
Every
That's
community,
part of the healthy boundaries thing. Right.
exactly. Every community is going to have people in there that really aren't part of your plan. They're not
Right.
part of your goal. They could be called an NPC, right? They're
Mhm.
just there. And so
Right.
just know that not everybody's going to be able to fit into what you're doing. And like you
Mm-mm.
said, that's part of the healthy boundaries.
Boundaries, yeah, because a lot of the things that we're going to bring up is going to refer back to some of the main things that we talked about, the main points that we talked about. Then community is also a main point because it's not, nothing happens without each other. And if you want to, all right, so in the professional life, the way people start businesses is that they find a problem and they provide a solution, and whether there be in the form of a product or services or whatever that may be. So if you have a community of people who all have the same problem and then all want the same solution, then you more than likely it will be easier for your goal to get done. You can also take on bigger goals because it's not just you have a community or a team. No quote unquote what you want to say successful person has done anything by themselves.
No, nobody. Not even this man that everybody talks about, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he ain't even
Nope,
do it
didn't do.
himself.
He didn't do nothing by himself. And also the way this is gonna sound, might need another definition for it, but many minds make light work.
Right.
So,
Ooh, I like the way that, because yeah.
think about it. Like, if you got two people helping you carry a couch, you got it because it's two people, right? But
Mm-hmm.
just think if you got three people
Right.
or four people.
Or even five. Shit, somebody
Exactly.
to hold the damn doors open for
Somebody
you.
hold
You
the
know
door,
what I
make sure
mean?
you ain't finna step or
Yeah.
fall down the step. Make
Uh-huh.
sure everything's out the way. They're
You
gonna
got a
get the
spotter.
cushions for you. You're right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It
Yeah.
just goes so deep. And if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah.
If you want to go
Yeah.
fast, go alone because you ain't got no time to wait on nobody. But if you
No.
want to go far, go together.
Go together. And we're not talking like I see a lot of business people, they talk about this, this five, right? Having the five people. And it goes to, I can't remember who wrote this dude who wrote this book, but he talks about it. He says, the five people in your circle, obviously including you know what I mean? And he broke them down in animals. Like you need a bear, a lion, fucking eagle, or a falcon. And then he broke them down in animals. It was 5 animals. I can't remember all 5 of them, but each one had a particular characteristic that they were naturally gifted with. You know what I mean? So when you're looking for the community of people, it don't necessarily have to be 5 because, like I said, some of us hold qualities of 2 animals. You know what I mean? And
Right.
you gotta, understand it's just, it works like that. But in a sense, you know what I mean? When you have those 5 different type of people working in tandem together, like you said, what did you say? Makes it light work. What'd you say?
Yeah, many minds. So
Many
many
minds,
people, many minds, many, whatever it is makes the work a lot lighter on you.
a lot lighter, and
Um,
you're gonna need that because more than likely the goal that you want to achieve, whether like I said, it's being as small as or as big as being the best wife in the world, or as huge as being the next political party to bring peace to the fucking Middle East.
right, I was
You know what
about
I
to
mean?
say the Middle East.
Right,
And then,
right. You know what I
hey,
mean? Like,
there was a book,
what up?
Jason. I don't know if you ever heard this shit, but it was called Think and Grow Rich.
Not from the top of my
So
head.
they had
Wait,
there was a
I think
concept in
okay.
there of mastermind, right?
Uh-huh.
And so in the book, it said that the mastermind is like the coordination of knowledge and like your effort of 2 or more people. So masterminds make light work. And those 2 or more people who work toward a definite purpose in the spirit or harmony. So when I say spirit and harmony, I'm not really talking about any type of spiritual, but just in the spirit of like, this is what we're doing. Like, say for instance, me and you know what I mean? Like February 7th, we started Think High Crew, the first episode on Twitter Spaces, and look at us now. Now,
yes, sir.
Have we done what we set out to do? Yes.
Yes.
Have we
Did
done
we do what we wanted to do? No, not necessarily the actual final goal of where we wanted. You're right, but have we done more than what we expected? Absolutely.
And what we did do though is we went into a community that we were not part of. We got involved in that community. We found out how that community actually was, and we told ourselves, this is not the community we want to be a part of. So just like we was talking about,
we also asked those questions.
Not going to be exactly, and every person in that community, or maybe none of the people in that community, but some of those people from that community have followed us here. There's a few people in here right now that are listening. You know what I mean? So just to know that it's okay if you know, your first go around or second or third or fourth on community, you end up sitting back and being like, you know what, man, like I think maybe I'm gonna go a different route because this community is not what I'm trying to do. And we realized that by that community getting real mad when we told the motherfucking truth, and everybody else
really it was just asking questions.
We're asking the question of
and because when you're building a community yourself and you join a community to help. Well, you join a community that you think would align with your community that you're trying to fucking build, and you find out that, you know, that's a part of growing up. You know, you find out that the superheroes aren't really, you know, that super. You know what I mean? Like you're like, oh, this guy's really not that cool, or this shit's really not that cool. Or this and then you don't want to have that.
Or it's like, oh, all y'all did. It's like all you did was show me the cool part. Right. You didn't show me all that. The stuff that you was doing that was really kind of negative towards everybody in the community.
Facts.
But in that book, bro, like I said, they talk about a concept, mastermind. And so, you know, when you hear that, you're like, wow, well, yeah, I know what that means. But in this book, a mastermind is your own personal community that you've selected, not been forced into, but that you've selected. To build a mastermind, you find like-minded people who are committed to being there for you, just as you were there for them. Equal exchange.
Facts.
Not everyone is a good fit for the mastermind concept, especially if they aren't willing to devote time to the group.
Right.
That goes that just goes without saying.
And I think that that's really dope and powerful. But and I want to make people aware of what happens if this mastermind type thing isn't done correctly. You get a hive mind, which you see a lot with how today's society works. You have one group of people,
mob rule.
A mob, you know what I'm saying? One group of people says something, and then everybody else just agrees, no matter what. You know what I mean? And then that is the opposite of creating a mastermind, a group of individuals who create that mastermind. They got all of that.
Yeah, but don't get it twisted. Like don't get fooled by thinking like, oh, I'm joining the mastermind. No. Mastermind is a community you select.
Right.
That community don't select you.
Right.
You know, like there's no mastermind community that has selected Think High Crew.
Right.
Think High Crew has selected its own mastermind of people. And we know that not everyone is a good fit with each other either. Right. So you want to start with a couple of like-minded people. And
it's so crazy. So it's like
that's what we did, bro. Think about it.
Yeah. But it's just like what all these other groups did, right? You know, the Rockefellers, these guys, these other guys. You know what I mean? Everybody is operating.
Everybody was
so many groups. Yeah, there's so
One
many group of
one goal.
peoples operating like that, but like people think of it like it's like an evil thing, like a mastermind. You know, when you hear that word, the programming behind it is not like a good one. You know what I mean? And then when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to being a mastermind, right? Like masterminds create an agenda. You know what I mean? And then you got the agenda behind, you know, the masterminds, and then people that's like drives a lot of people just away from trying to even understand that all of this is what gives them so much more clarity than you.
Exactly. You want to start
So,
with a couple of like-minded people and then
mhm,
slowly expand the group.
yes,
Setting a cap on the number of people might be a good idea. You don't
yep,
want too many cooks in the kitchen,
nope,
and the more people you have, the longer it will take to accomplish regular meetings, too.
yep,
You also want to consider personality styles within the group. A
yep,
mix works best because each style brings something different to the table. Make sure they don't conflict. However, you want to look forward to this time together.
yes.
So it's, I mean, that's a
And
short
we have to,
paragraph.
and we have to go too though. Like that won't conflict part is more of a fairy tale type of things because
Yeah, I
you
was about
are
to
gonna,
say,
yeah,
you're going to
you
conflict,
are
period.
gonna, you're gonna have a confliction because, like I said, if you're gonna have a whole bunch of people who are different but have the same goal, you know what I mean,
Well,
and
I'm
they
sure
have
a
the
lot
same.
of people probably think that me and you just see eye to eye and get along on everything, but that's a wrong eye
I
right
mean,
there.
but
And I tell
but
everybody,
no, we it's like a check and powers, check and balance type shit. Like, hold on, bro. Like nah, da 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 da. Like, you know what I mean? Like I said, like I think I could bring it up,
staying,
man. We
staying open, just staying
yeah,
open.
open, yeah, because like I can say what I want, and you will be like, nah, bro, I ain't about to. And I'm not gonna take offense to that. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be
Exactly.
mad and try to go, oh, all right, well, fuck it, I'll go do it myself because you guys don't believe in, you guys don't believe in branding our beard oil as naming it pussy juice. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be fucking
Right.
angry. You know what I'm saying? But like,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean? Like that's
That
just
shit right there is still on the chopping block.
right.
Oh boy.
But
Because
yeah,
hey,
you're
I want
gonna
to do
have.
it too, but then I started thinking, I'm like, shit.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well,
Because it's
people
only
like
gonna
me might
brand.
like
You only can brand it so far. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But I understand that. But some people are, so you're gonna like when you have these. Even that's just like a simple idea. Obviously nobody's gonna. It's gonna be any major conflict about that. But you're gonna have conflict where some people feel they're doing more work than others, or some people feel they're putting in more energy in some places that they shouldn't be, or you're not in your department. Stay in your lane. Da 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 da. Such and
Exactly.
such. But if you guys are able to communicate, and that's what comes back to what we talked about before, holding each other accountable and being responsible and having that communication, and you have boundaries that no one's really gonna cross. So you might have some falling outs, but you also have the communication, or you have the ability to remove the emotional part and be like, "Oh, like listen, this is what's really going on." And then once everybody comes back to that understanding, then you'll be good to go. But you can't say that there's not going to be any conflict because you got basically the highest. It's like putting all the best players on the same team. You got the
And you think
best
all of them just
center. You got the best point guard. You got the best. Everybody's the best. Everybody wants the ball. Everybody wants to shoot. Everybody wants to dunk. Everybody wants to pass. Everybody wants to do everything. Because they're the star. They're normally being the star on their team. But you know what I
Yep.
mean? Like
And
when you have that.
everybody wants that title or that attention
Yeah.
of, oh, I'm the
Yeah.
man on this team,
Yep. So then, like the way that you can balance that. Obviously, you would need a good coach if you speak in sports wise. But the point is that everybody just be's the best at their position. You know what I mean? And when you see your teammate not having the game they normally have, then you have the ability to move like water and fill in where they're missing. So
Exactly. Like,
that is finding the balance. That's what I wanted to get to. It's finding that balance with your people. So like you're gonna have that push and pull. This is a duality. You can't avoid it. So
yep.
yeah, that's how I just wanted to say. That's kind of like the fairy tale part about it. Is like you make sure they don't have any conflict. Like there's no really way to do that.
I'm going to jump in with some feminine energy here and say a lot of the things that you're talking about is just like embedded deep within the human psyche. I mean, you hear all the old wives' tales or whatever, Appalachian quotes from grandmothers like birds of a feather flock together, and,
Right.
three's a company, or, all sorts of little things that people for generations to come and before have been talking about the same thing for like thousands of years in like so many different ways. And like y'all are saying, it's just embedded in everybody that opposition's everywhere, no matter what, in yourself, outside of you. There's always going to be duality. And then a group of people have to have open minds and be able to communicate, be consistent, not completely unemotional, but be able to disassociate from the
Right, because
emotional part
if you're
of
gonna
the
go from
business or the friendship or the, every relationship. It's just like a human nature thing. But for
if
some
you're gonna
reason, Jason, I want to say when he brought up the hive mind, that's the problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like being in Atlanta, I was just visiting and I felt that almost immediately. You fall into the trends, what everyone else is doing. There's so many people around you. And I'm picking up on so many people's thoughts and they're all similar, So that's tough to deal with in a group of people and not become like a cult.
Yeah, it
exactly.
does.
Well,
It
the
does.
mastermind, the group of, the group that we're calling the mastermind, it will encourage you to think bigger because
Right.
people external to us don't see the same limitations that we place on ourselves. So the idea of joining a mastermind, not a hive, right? But a mastermind is to stretch a person and have the support of others in a non-judgmental environment.
Yes.
So I think that goes along with exactly what you were saying, T.
Oh yeah, because that to me, like when the mastermind has failed is when it's became a hive mind. You know what I
And
mean? Like
think about this, bro. Like, think about
Yeah.
this. Why have we always been kind of swayed to think that the mastermind, like you were saying, is some evil plot or some shit, or some evil person? The mastermind behind the plan. It's like, bro, like, what about a group of people coming together and becoming the mastermind or making the work lighter?
Right. Well, and that's what all these, these people like the, Illuminati or whatever you want to label them, from the Knights Templar all the way back in history, and they were masterminding people, and they just see all of the bad shit that came about it. No one's really taking it in perspective. See, where we come together as a community is in the fact that knowing that a knife cannot cut itself. So, and when I say that, I'm saying like an eye can't see itself unless it's looking in what? A mirror. So we have our community based on the fact that we are all one. Like I am you, you are me. We are it. This is it. I'm just looking at
You just scored
myself.
100 points for that.
Hey, you know what I mean? So so that's the balance in it. But you'll see it happening, and that's what's happening in society today. That's what we continue to see happening. Is you see those group of people, like you'll have like Christianity that came about. Obviously, it started with a mastermind of individuals who set out for the same goal. Whether some people may see that as an evil goal or a good goal, that's irrelevant in the topic. But obviously they achieved what they were trying to achieve. But where they failed is that now it's a hive mind and it's not a mastermind anymore, where each individual cell of the mind has its own thought process.
Well, think about this. There's variations of the quote unquote mastermind, right? Masterminds can take place just in a person. You can physically meet somewhere at a regularly scheduled time, aka a mobcast podcast, right? You can like it says, like I'm going off of one sentence, but so a mastermind can take place in a person. So that means that the idea of everything that you can do by yourself or with a group of people, it takes place inside of the person. That's why it says, and people say, and we say all the time, everything's inside of you. It's already inside of you. You just got to figure out how to pull it out or remember it, and then come up with the goals, get the clarity, put it into play, and possibly select a mastermind or group of people that where you can take it further and further and further in a community, right? So they can take place in a retreat style too, going away somewhere for a determined period, like a weekend trip, or just get away. And in that, you can possibly connect on a deeper level.
But also inside of that, though, like that goes to what you want to say, the next part of it, which will inside the mastermind, you would need networking and a mentor mind. Was the next part, which is real key.
AKA entrepreneurial type mind.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I see that too.
Yeah. I mean, initially, right?
Non-hive mentality.
Right, to put it, and then to put it in perspective for your personal life, like you should always be trying to elevate or empower the people around you. So like that to me, you know, is the mentor mind. Like now, a lot of people, like I think the
like I always say, bro, I'd rather everybody around me have as much or more than me. That way, I don't have to be in one.
But the mentor mind is something that's been, you know, the word mentor is something I think that's been hijacked as well. Like a lot of people mentor from the position of not wanting their students or pupils or whatever up under them to be better than them. You see what I'm saying? Like any of these
or to not or to get to a spot where they don't need them anymore.
Right, exactly. They're not doing that.
Spot where you don't need the mentor, what happens to the mentor?
Right, they stop making money. They stop because you know the mentor and that's why I said that. That's
and the mentor could be the pastor. The mentor could be the pastor. It could be a spiritual guru. It could be the dude on the basketball team that tells you, look, follow this dude right here. He's gonna
and that's been that's all hijacked. The real definition of what you would call, you know, a mentorship mentality, because the mentor is mentoring to make that person better than they are. It's not, you know what I mean? Like in what we find out happening, especially in our professional life, is that a lot of people will have a mentor, but you'll find out that they'll never ever make more money than the mentor does. Or they'll never ever be in the mentor's position, to where they're like, all right, well, I've done exactly what the mentor done, even at a higher level. Now I'm going to mentor somebody. So like, it's that type of mind you got to keep out of your mastermind cell when you're, you know, coming to accomplishing your goal. And like I said, having this community and these type of people is what's going to help bring you clarity. But you do need that. A mentor mind is going to pull you up to where, you know what I mean, to where you're going upwards. They call it a mentor, but a lot of these cats aren't really mentoring. You know what I mean? They're just, I guess you could say, teaching.
Well, they might have developed a system for themselves, and then they teach it to other people and expect other people to be able to excel in it the way they did. And sometimes that's not possible.
Right.
Because of all the other things you need to get there. If you just listen to somebody and they tell you this, that, and the third on how they did it, well, in all reality, that don't mean shit to me, homie. Because I might not have access to this or that, or I might not be able to jump that high, or I might not be able to run that fast, or I might not be able to know.
It creates a gap in your networking.
Exactly.
Yeah, it creates a gap in your networking, because if you're
like I said, if the coach says, hey,
Mm-hmm.
do what that guy does.
Right.
And I'm like, well, bro, I can't do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that
Right.
motherfucker is just the one. He can do it better than me. So
Right.
how am I going to excel doing that, knowing that I'll never be able to take that dude's position?
Mm-hmm.
So why not have
Man,
a
I see it all the
mastermind
time
of
though, man.
people?
Like, you're right. I see it all the time, bro. They be like, get mentorship in this, get mentorship in that, get mentorship. People be getting mentorship from so much different shit. You got to, I got it from my mentor. And then like years later, I see him, and then I'll be like, you still in the same spot? Like, you had a millionaire mentor. Like, how come?
And you talked down on me when you was, because that's
like,
a lot of
you
the
telling me
times,
you
bro.
need to come to these seminars. You need to spend $75 to sit in on this information, and you need to come with me. And I'm like, nah, bro,
I
I'm
hear
good.
you,
You know
bro.
what I mean?
And you also
Yeah,
need your bills paid too, don't you?
yeah. And that's the, I just wanted to bring that up because you want to have the mentorship mindset inside of your mastermind cell of people or inside your community.
Right. And
In
don't be
general.
surprised if when you start to select the mastermind, don't be surprised if 99% of the people take off running.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because we're talking about a lot here. We're talking about responsibility. We're talking about accountability. We're talking about setting goals and sticking to that shit.
But you gotta let people do what they're gonna do, at the best way that they can do it, right? And regardless, because you don't want nobody who doesn't want to be there. You know what I mean? Who's just there to just
there to catch a
I don't
little
know
bit of
for
this
what.
or that or whatever it is.
Right,
You know what I mean?
whatever the fuck it is, right? But you want people to be there. So like, I know when you're choosing your mastermind cell, sometimes like those people will choose themselves
and use those healthy boundaries.
Yeah, but those people will choose themselves sometimes. Like it'll almost stand out like a sore thumb for you. So, but you also have to realize that even those people that might have came in initially in the beginning, you know what I mean? They might rotate out. You know what I mean?
Right,
Not saying that they're not going to still be a part of your community, but they might have realized that
the goals or the standards that you're setting, right? That doesn't, like we talked about, everybody ain't gonna get along. Everybody ain't gonna do it. So everybody might not be able to hold themselves accountable to the goals that are being sought after, or whatever the word is.
Because we looking for clarity here. So we're getting all the way down to like you gonna need help, and the people that you get the help from, that you form, your community around, they have to be a certain type of people, and everybody's not gonna fit that mold. You know what I mean? But you got to just stay in it, stay networking. Do Nova spend a whole weekend networking. You're going to have to take those risks of opening up the cell to new things. Otherwise, you're not going to learn from what's going on. You know what I mean? So it's like you're going to need a good community behind you. And that's basically the bottom line of it. And this community must, what you want to say, exist of people who have that similar goal in mind.
Right. And when you first start out, most people are going to be like real gung-ho about it. And yeah, let's get it. Let's go. And 6 months down the road, when you're still every day being consistent, holding yourself accountable, sticking to those healthy boundaries, a lot of people are going to fade out. And that doesn't mean that your mastermind idea and group of people is a failure. It just means that person figured out, look, this ain't for me and I can't do this. And that's okay. It's fine. You don't got to cut them off. You just know that you can't depend on them. That's it.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
So the networking of, like you brought up networking, like, networking is
how you going to bring
huge.
your community. Yeah.
It's like, how approachable are you? You know,
That
if you
too.
walk up to a group of people, or nowadays everything so
And that's going to
online.
all be based on your goal that you guys are trying to achieve, or finding that clarity to be able to achieve that. That's going to be a part of that, because um, sometimes you're going to have to be, like, what you want to say, too high and mighty to touch to some people. And that might, for some people might not be uncomfortable with playing that kind of a role sometimes. You know what I mean? But when you understand your value, which is also something that has to come with the clarity, then you know that everybody can't be a part of this shit. You know what I mean? Not within the inner, the inner mastermind. But yeah, networking is extremely, extremely important, and it's risky.
Yeah, because some people are going to take you as how they initially see just people in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some people are going to look at you from head to toe and be like, and they're going to form an opinion about you immediately.
Yep.
And just because you wear a certain thing, or you drive a certain thing, or you walk a certain way, or talk a certain way, some people, and not just some, but a lot, hive mentality, right, are going to
Yeah.
look at you and be like, oh, this is what they are, or this is what they're about, not knowing that there's a whole deeper level
Mm-hmm.
that everybody's actually still remembering about themselves if you're going from within.
And that's
So,
called, and that's part of the fog. Like I said, it's going to be, and that's why we see clarity, because that's all a part of the fog. It's going to be you building that community, the networking, like, because when you're trying to achieve a goal, like, you're going to run into people who are going to just want to ride that wave because they see everything that they would like to be. You know what I mean? But they don't have that accountability to make them changes to be that, and you'll attract more shit. You know what I mean? Like,
or
you'll
maybe they
attract.
just haven't, maybe they haven't done the work on themselves to
Yeah,
even be able to get to the point to even want to see clarity.
yeah, yeah. But they'll see that reflection in you, and they'll want to ride that wave, and just to be around it. You know what I mean? And you got a lot of energy leeches and shit too. So, like, networking is why fucking goddamn what's his name from the fucking Breakfast Club was in trouble. DJ Envy.
Oh, envy, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, networking is why he holding them seminars, networking events for people about real estate. And all the time his partner was doing some shady shit, which got him fucking completely hemmed up too. And he's trying to plead like he didn't know what the fuck was going on. You know what I mean? Now
Right.
he got to play. So it's like the networking, and having that, the right individuals around you is going to be extremely, extremely important to finding that clarity. Otherwise, you're just going to add that community, the people, your hive, your mastermind becomes a hive mind. Just like we witnessed with a lot of these cryptocurrency NFTs.
Right. The projects and the quote unquote communities that surround it, like we found out, not all, but a lot of these quote unquote communities are just people that are involved. They're
Yeah,
not
but they're just people
necessarily.
listening to somebody else. Like, nobody's making any of the choices or thinking for themselves. You know what I mean? At all.
Or
Like, and
give,
then you,
or they
yeah,
just take what they're given. So
yeah,
they're like, "Oh, this is what it is. Okay, cool." And they don't ask
yeah.
any of their own
It's
questions.
because it's 6,000 people in one place. You know what I mean? And instead of it being a mastermind of individuals who are trying to reach the similar goal, you have a hive mind where the queen tells everybody this is what this is about, and if you're not
And
with
it's
it,
protect the queen at that point.
yeah.
You know
And
what I mean? It's not about.
and you know what? It's okay to set those boundaries though, right? Because we ourselves say, if you're not a fucking free thinker, and if you're not about to be, you know what I mean, about growing yourself, then don't even fuck with us. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like I get it, but at the same time, it's coming from a whole nother perspective. Ours is coming from the perspective that we love you. Theirs is coming from the perspective that we want your bread. And
Yep.
that's
Or they
basically,
want
you
your
know,
energy and the control of you. So,
of you. Yeah.
you know, um,
In all of
so
those
they can
aspects,
use
for
you for
sure.
their own networking process, or
Exactly.
whatever it is.
Exactly. So networking definitely is something like everybody has to do, even on a personal level, to achieve personal goals, not just your financial, not just even your spiritual goals. Like a lot of people want to take that trip completely alone, but then they end up realizing that they are everything, they are everybody, which it brings them back to having to deal with, everybody else. You know what I mean? Eventually
Right.
you're gonna have to, because it's all the self.
Well, you got to remember too that in your hands, you hold what could very well be the key to your next level.
Right.
And it might be the next level of your career. It might be the next level of your success. It might be the next level or depth of fulfillment and meaning in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, I'll just go back to it one more time. If you don't know what your goals are, then you're going to get real confused when things start happening.
Yep.
You're not going to know, okay, is this what I'm about to sink my teeth into, or do I let this pass by until something else? Because if you know what your goal is, when that thing comes to you, you're going to sink your teeth into it, and everything else, you're going to let it pass by you. Not that ain't my goal. Nope, 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 nope. And it makes it a
Yes,
lot
sir.
easier to be able to
It does.
put the energy needed into what's needed.
Yeah. Find that clarity. I mean, it
It's kind of
all
like
ends
moving
up.
forward,
Yeah.
moving
Yeah.
forward in the clarity.
Yes, sir. And just let everybody know it's a lifetime process. I repeat, and you're not gonna find it today or tomorrow. You know what I mean? Shit, maybe not even this life, but you have
I
to.
got it tattooed on me, bro. Life's a journey, not a destination.
Absolutely.
I've learned that. I've learned it, bro. Like it doesn't mean I know how to navigate all the time perfectly,
Yeah,
but
how clear can you get it, man? I see it like a video game that you start off an adventure game, and all the map has all the fog all over it because you haven't explored that part of the map yet. And how
yeah,
how clear can you get? How clear can you get it?
right.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
on a lighter note, I'm not trying to change the subject, but if
Yeah.
nobody has ever watched the show before, season 3 of Upload is on Amazon Prime Video. We started watching it last night. Hey, that thing is fire, bro.
Yeah.
I just got to say that. It
I gotta
goes
check it out.
if you watch the show, you'll see why I brought it up. But yeah, just on a lighter note, man, like it kind of shows you how everything that we're talking about is is for real, even though it's a show.
Right.
It shows you that like season 1 is, this part of it. It's finding a little bit of, there's really not too much clarity there, right? But
Right.
now in season 3, like it it might be more confusing. There's more stuff going on, but there's actually more clarity there if you've been involved.
Right.
I guess that's the best way to put it. If you haven't been involved and you just been the person riding the sidelines, waiting until whatever happens, then you're never going to be you're never going to get that clarity. So in season 1 and 2, if you were just not really paying attention, you will
Hmm.
not understand season 3. I'll go ahead and tell you that.
Right.
But if you've been paying attention, then you'll understand season 3, and you'll be like, "Dang, man! So this Upload thing, like, is this heaven? do you
Yeah.
know? Do we
Yeah,
choose
it's one of
to?
them kind of shows. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay. I
fire.
gotta check it out.
Yeah, but
But
man,
when it comes to this, I know we about running to the end of the show, probably about like 20-25 minutes. And
I think we should do a part 3 next Monday, and we can probably
okay.
seal it up then.
Yeah, that'd be dope because it's a little bit left to finding our clarity. We went through a lot, and since last Monday, like I said, we started with responsibility, uh, taking responsibility, giving up. Something's got to give what you got to sacrifice. Um, reasons why you need to embrace change, setting goals and targets, your vision, your clarity questions, your whys, why you doing what you're doing, accountability, um, down to your community. Today we talked about accountability and then having a plan and making sure it's smart, making it easy, gathering a community of people, having a mastermind of individuals. And then we can finish it up. We'll finish it up next Monday. We'll pick it up with engage.
Yeah, I was gonna say engage might be the next, probably like the next. If you're networking, then the next step is probably going to be some engagement, because that's what you're looking for. If you're networking, you're looking for people to engage with you.
And it's crazy because when we started with responsibility, and you wonder how you get here, and then like our goal is a clarity. So like we're just using the process of clarity, finding clarity to explain clarity. You know what I mean? So like we started at responsibility, and now here we are. So next Monday we'll conclude the clarity topic and do a quick
and you know
overview.
What, those 5 will probably, I do want to talk about that, like maybe like at the end, like the 5 principles of success you were talking about.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I think it's like, if you concentrate on the 5 principles of success before you learn how to get the success, or to find out how to navigate through all the bull crap to find the success, then you're kind of putting the cart before the horse.
Right. And I mean, and you're not going to have success without clarity. And I want to elaborate and say, when I say success, I'm not talking about just having a lot of money or nice cars and shit like that. So I don't want you guys to think that that's what I mean. When I say success, when we say success, it's based on your personal definition of what is successful for you, because you might not value money like that, or the financial or professional side of things. You might be more artistic or into other things, you know what I mean? So I don't want to say that you're not successful if you don't have a big house and a lot of money.
There's literally no limit on what type of success somebody can achieve.
Right. We're saying that you can use this method of clarity, of finding clarity, to achieve any level of success, whether it being the best dad in the world or the best,
or learning how to read better, right? You know what I mean? Like, you can set out a goal to, hey, I'm going to learn how to read real good, bro.
Sure, or I'm going to read 100 books, or I'm going to just, gather it from any kind of goal, you know what I mean? So whatever it is that you're trying to do, to find that clarity, there's steps that you got to take. And it's a web within a web. So and then inside that web, it's going to be steps to finding out responsibility, steps to the accountability, steps to finding the community, steps to networking. And then once you have it all, the bigger picture, you can put it all together, then you'll have the clarity.
Yep. Exactly. You got anything to add, T?
No, y'all sound great.
Well, thanks for being on today, and maybe you can come back another time and fulfill the feminine energy part of the show and read some more cards, etc. I think today was a good show.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I feel like I got a little more clarity, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Now you need to get some rest and sleep on it.
Shoot, buddy. I'm gonna go up in that bed and watch some Upload, probably. Yeah, man. Hey, we appreciate everybody that tuned in on Podbean Live with us, and then everybody that hits that Apple Podcast or Amazon, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Boomplay. What up, Africa? We see y'all listening a lot, tuning in Africa. From Boomplay, that's what's up. It's a lot of scammers trying to hit us up too. Watch they own us.
Be careful about who you let in your community.
Right.
Yes, sir.
But man. So tomorrow we'll jump into what?
Fuck around, find out Tuesday.
And you're just gonna have to fuck around and tune in to find out what we're gonna talk about.
Because this is gonna be some shit. Best believe
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But
So
I ain't
yeah,
got shit else. Yeah. I was just
go
gonna say,
ahead.
I love y'all. Appreciate y'all like always. Check us out at thinkhighshop.com. Get yourself a hoodie. It's getting cold out here in these streets. Shit. That's about it, really. Stay updated with us, and we'll let you know when the next collection is coming. We do still have top girls available, even for USDC. Check us out, all on the website, thinkhighshop.com.
Yeah, thinkhighshop.com.
Had to plug us.
So we got CBD salve getting in chiropractor's office and practices. I'm going to do a photo shoot for and with a chiropractor that's going to actually endorse what we're doing with the salve, and they've been using it in their practice personally on themselves and clients, patients, whatever you want to call it, and
got that
they're
rub
seeing a
down
success. So, oh yeah, the rub down cream. So we're gonna have that popping off, and obviously it's still for sale on the website, always be. But it's just about making moves, man. We set a goal out. A lot of people probably think out or a lot different, but thinking high or thinking outside of the box is like, okay, other than putting this for sale on the website or going to these smoke shops or whatever you want to call them, like where else would it be good to have some CBD rub down salve that only has 4 ingredients and that can also keep bugs and stuff off of your skin or whatever it is, like mosquitoes, etc. And so we found a spot, and now we're just building on that and going bigger and bigger and bigger and further as possible. And having a professional in that field to endorse us, I think will help out a lot. And it'll show that we're not just a group of people that's trying to sell shit just to do a money grab.
Oh, yeah, hell no. And if there's anybody out there or business owners who are into the CBD, CBN, all of those type of products, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to have our products in your store. We're open to any kind of business. Definitely truly professional when it comes to that side of things. And we would love to be, a part of the growth of the whole cannabis industry as it begins to, get legalized everywhere.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So for me, appreciate everybody, and we'll be back tomorrow for FAFO.
Fuck around,
Tuesday.
find out. Appreciate y'all.
And we're gonna close out with the intro of the outro.
Just received an update.
It's the Think High crew, yeah.
Just received an update.
Yeah, it's the Think High crew. What up? Yeah, it's the Think High crew. It's the Think High crew. What up?